Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero, and we are back with a video with multiple topics. Things like the new announcement that was shown off today, which is called Saints and Sinners #1, which is an anthology of multiple short stories from different creators like J. David, As from Heel vs. Babyface, Mahler the Longman, Critical Drinker, the Saska Sisters, and Eric July himself. We're also going to be talking about the absolute cope that was happening when the Isom 3 campaign closed, or was in the process of closing, and we're also going to be talking about a clown that believes that he doxed Yellow Flash, even though he got it completely wrong, because these guys are absolutely stupid. We're also going to be talking about a couple of detractors that are coping as well. You know, your favorites, the Throat Goat, the Tism Spencers, the Gay Beans of the world. Let's get into it here. So we have Saints and Sinners #1. That'll be the pre-order collection that went live today. It's going to be out in late of Q3 2025, 67 days to go. Already hitting 72,000 in total sales and hitting almost 2,000 in total books sold. So what do you get with this? Well, we have Chasing Ghosts, which is a short story starring Ingrid Valdez. This is going to be written by Heel vs. Babyface. The interior art done by Diogenes Neves and inker Eber Friera. Colorist Andrew Kramer. Of course, letters are by the Invisible Art Studio. You have A Cross to Bear with Cameron Cross, written by J. David. You have, of course, The Weight of Restraint, written by Eric July. You have Bone Guard, written by Calum Edmonds, which is, I guess that's Mahler's name. He's put his name out there. That's the Longman Mahler. You have The Underdog, which stars Larry Shungite, written by the Saska Sisters, so it's like a wrestling type of comic or short story. And then you have One Little Push, which is written by Will Jordan. You have cover A, illustrated by Jeans Holland. Cover B, illustrated by Will Conrad. Cover C, illustrated by Desmond White. Illustrated by by Edu Souza. It's cover D. And then you have the mass print, which is illustrated by Kanan White. It is going to be a 112-page book, and of course, usually the limited quantities of covers A, B, C, and D. E will be, of course, the mass print. So let's go through the covers here. They have a cover for each story. All the stories are included, but you have cover A, which has the Ingrid, which has the whole Ingrid right here. You have cover B to represent, I believe, Bone God. I think this one's for Bone God. Cover C is for the One Little Push from Critical Drinker. You can see a guy clearly spying on Yaira or Sally Rodell and Altona right there. You have cover D for the J. David book, which is A Cross to Bear. And then you have, of course, the mass print, which has all the characters from every short story on the cover here. So you get all those great options. You also have things like a Dokuman shirt, a poster with all the characters, and obviously you have the I Want It All. And, of course, you have Deck 5 for the Dokuman cards. But going over to the Isom 3 collection, 660,508 is where the total sales ended, and 11,666 total books sold. Now, the cope with this is that people claim that, oh, Cyberfrog 3 made more money than Isom 3. Which, yeah, if you have the campaign open, it'll exceed the amount. The real amount for the launch of Cyberfrog 3 is actually 493,000, so no. Truthfully, it did not make more money than Isom 3. It didn't even sell more books than Isom 3, which is the real thing that people actually care about. Who's buying more of what? Cyberfrog 3 or Isom 3? And the thing is, people will actually receive their Isom 3 books this year. More than likely will not receive their Cyberfrog 3 books. So none of this really matters. I don't know why these feminine boys are so concerned with another man's pockets, constantly claiming that the Rippaverse is failing, even though it's made over $2.5 million in revenue this year in comparison to, Ethan and Skyver. I don't personally care how much money either of these things make. I'm just covering this. So I don't know why they're so obsessed with it. So the funny thing is, they claim it's a cope, right? But you have Beowulf here using the numbers from the campaigns, right? The things that it ended on, right? Meanwhile, these books are all going to be sold after the fact, after the campaigns end. So why is it different that you guys are trying to shift the goalposts and use a number that's here during the in-demand phase of Cyberfrog 3? If you're going to use, right? If you're going to use the numbers from the campaigns, that means the real number for this The real number for this would be 493,000. So you cannot use different rules for different things to kind of shift the goalposts and cope over the fact that this did not make more money than Isom 3. We're not going to do that. So which I say, who cares? You sound like an ex-girlfriend who can't get over the man that left you. Crushed all of CG. The numbers don't include taxes, shipping, and fees. Sold more books than anyone in CG. Cope and seethe over another man's money. Constantly. Went on to do another post, with the terrible meme. You care about another man's money like if you're the man's wife. Cyberfrog 3 made $493,000 during its original launch. Just because you pay picks, continue to buy slot MAGA variants for Hierophant, among other items, so that campaign doesn't mean anything. Isom 3 outsold Cyberfrog 3 by comparison during the initial launch of the campaigns. Cope and seethe, you soy-fueled loser, fake-ass veteran. You even had furries like Lamfartsy, of course. Imagine you retards coping so hard over Cyberfrog 3 beating Isom 3. Sorry, it did. No. No, it didn't. Because you clowns want to sit here and use launch numbers, right? So don't try to sit here and use a different rule for your Frog Daddy, your Throat Goat's books. If you're going to use the campaign numbers, we're going to use the original campaign numbers, which is this. So cope and seethe all you like over your Frog Daddy's non-successful thing over Isom 3. All you want. You can have Grok since you want to use Grok. We can use Grok too if you like, which I'll go ahead and do so. The Cyberfrog 3 Rain Extermination campaign officially ended its initial 30-day Indiegogo run July 4th to August 3rd, 2023 with $494,124 raised, as reported in a Reddit discussion on the Rippaverse subreddit. This figure is supported by a user comment stating that Cyberfrog 3 received $494,124 from 3,600 backers during this period before entering the in-demand phase which it continued to accrue funds, eventually reaching $805,000. For clarity, the $494,124 represents a total at the close of the primary campaign, including taxes, shipping, and fees, as per Indiegogo's standard practice, as you confirmed. The additional funds up to $805,000 were raised during the extended in-demand phase, which remained open for further pledges. Thus, the official end total for Cyberfrog 3 before the in-demand phase was $494,124. So continue to cope and seethe over your Frog Daddy and Throat Goat losing so many backers and so much money and not selling anywhere near as many books as Isom 3, as Isom 3 will also continue to be sold after the fact. Sorry to tell you, but this is the reality. And then you had dummies like this guy and others, EVS simp, so your opinions are immediately irrelevant. This is why I knew CG is so low IQ. They are truly for doxing other people, even if it means falling for a lie. This is not Yellow Flash, by the way. You guys fell for it, hook, line, and sucker. This isn't Yellow Flash, dummies. You guys are the whole circus for listening to the Throat Goat. Single-digit IQ individuals. The same Throat Goat that thought he had some kind of W when he was sharing DMs of Eric July, myself, and recently Yellow Flash. Meanwhile, it's just all a distraction from his failing campaigns. And then you have clowns like Gay Beans, consistently thinking of me on a regular basis because this is all he has now and this is how he copes in life. This toe built like Sturgis. No. Absolutely not, bro. This has to be the biggest cope I've ever seen. This dude posted it super early in the morning, by the way. That means the moment he woke up, I was on his brain. And this is what rent-free absolutely looks like by an individual who has a wife and children, but would rather spend his time talking about me. And then you have this clown down here saying, that face you make when you can only get Satanists to take a picture with you. Meanwhile, I literally have a picture with Eric July, Erotic, Jeremy and Ryan, and plenty of other people from YouTube. So what are we doing? And I'm just like me at a Jelly Roll / Post Malone concert over the weekend. You still talking about me behind a blog, which the person down here that's also talking crap also has me blocked. So what are we doing, bro? I blocked this weirdo a long time ago. This guy blocked me, but it's like, bro, I'm out here having fun during my weekends, and you're out here talking about me for some weird reason because you just can't get over the fact that I don't care about you like that. I just enjoy making fun of you. This is hilarious. I enjoy showing my audience how obsessed you are with me because you're so weird and closeted. And then you have JDA. All Ethan Van Sciver gets quote-unquote outraged about independent people putting out books without his permission. Why? Because it makes him look bad since he's not working on his books. True. And here he is. Zeros and Heroes plus number 1. An anthology of comics by Eric's YouTube quote-unquote friends. So, people are extremely excited when the stream was going live. You even had a couple of haters in there because, of course, hate watchers gonna hate watch. And that just proves to you and shows you who's miserable and who's a loser. If you are sitting there hate watching somebody you disagree with or dislike or even outright hate, you are, in fact, a miserable individual and an absolute loser. I might review this one. Disappointing announcement, though, but everything that Rippaverse comes out with to him is disappointing, so your opinion is null and void, and it's moot. You have a moot point. Nobody cares. You even went out of your way to, share this, I guess. I don't know why. It's like this person, Origami, says, it made me laugh when he said disappointing announcement, considering EVS hates everything Eric or anyone correlated to Rippaverse does, which is a fact. He literally hates everything, even as he concern trolled over Madillard and Mapema artist bullcrap, and yet he didn't support the book. Yet he's telling people not to buy the book, even while he was sitting there concern trolling about Madillard and Mapea artist. Nobody cares, bro. How about you just work on your books and shut the hell up? You fat, overweight, out of shape individual. God, run on a treadmill. Stop eating so many pies. You're like the diabetes guy. That's what you look like at this point. But you also have other idiots like Tism Spencer. Can anyone explain to me, especially Rippatards, by the way, you would be classified as a Rippatard considering you buy every single book the man comes out with and you sit there and review stuff. So by your dumb made-up definition that you guys like to push with Grok and you think because it's an Urban Dictionary you think that's real, you're considered a Rippatard at this point. You even have geeks and gamers. I mean, you are a pansexual weirdo who literally said that a pro for the horseman was that he has manhood that you're jealous of because you're an absolute closeted homosexual, because you consider yourself a pansexual, which means you're just flat out gay. You might as well just say you're gay. What was the point of quote-unquote changing his crowdfunding from campaigns to collections? If the purpose was for faster turnaround times of releases. Every single thing he's done in collections had extremely fast turnaround times within 1.5 to 2 months. Sometimes he would even send out books while the campaign is still running. What are we talking about exactly? Why is this book almost 3 months away? Also, why did he make an anthology book when the Ripazine fulfilled that purpose? I'm baffled. It's because you're retarded and you're low IQ. You are the same guy that said you were black, and you're the same guy who said you can't be racist because you're basically black, which you're not black. What are we kidding here? But if you took 5 to 10 seconds to literally go to this video, you'll understand why the anthology exists. Let's take a listen, shall we?
What's up, y'all? As you probably know by now, our first anthology series is live over at Rippaverse.com. Man, a lot of y'all asked for this. It's titled Saints.
Wow, a lot of people asked for this. What a concept that Eric is giving his fans what they want. You could have, this was, 9 seconds into this video. It literally says why it exists. You're so retarded, and you swear up and down you are the smartest person in the room when you're absolutely not. You have the IQ of a gnat, and you couldn't even take 5 to 10 seconds to do the most basic research as to why something exists. He even explained in the live stream why and how it's different, why it exists and how it's different from the Ripazine. Simple. Again, these are not new things in the comic industry. Marvel and DC have done anthologies. This is not a new concept. Now we are going to say, as a joke obviously, that Eric July is now the inventor of anthologies. That is a new thing he has apparently invented, is that he is the inventor of anthologies now. Fake comic tourists don't fake comic book fan, a tourist, doesn't know that these things exist outside of the Rippaverse, apparently. And it's going to hurt Ethan's feelings even more that Mark Miller is even saying he loves an anthology and good luck to Eric for creating one. That is going to hurt his ego even more than Narwhal working with Mark Miller on Vatican City. Bro. The meltdown that's going to happen today on most likely Late Cast, as we call it. We don't call it Trash Cast over here. We call it Late Cast because you want to consistently talk a lot of crap about other people's art and other people's stuff and other people's product, yet you sit there and don't complete anything, and you think you're going to sell that trash Diary of Heather Swain book to a bunch of 50-plus-year-olds in your audience. No one's buying that trash, bro. No one is buying that 3D asset-filled dog water. But what are we doing? So this is just the beginning, obviously, of all the detractor nonsense. It obviously is going to ramp up within the next coming days or next week. Because, of course, anything and everything Eric does will always be criticized or talked about by randoms who don't actually give a crap about literally anything that Eric is doing or anyone associated with Eric is actually doing. Remember, these are the same types that also said Jay David's Achromatic Chronicles Green was a flop, even though he made more money and sold more books with Rip Ascend than with Indiegogo. So, thank you all for checking out this video. Really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like the video, smash the like button, comment below if you feel all this, subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video, go live on the channel. Consider becoming a member for just $1 a month. There's a join button down below this video. You get access to live stream emojis when I go live, as well as members-only content on the channel. If you can't spare the buck, that's okay too. I appreciate you for watching the videos and jumping in on live streams, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.